Welcome to Tactical Talk. This is Zain Khan. Today's topic is Pakistan Navy's mammoth and gigantic Aman 21 exercise and its future, and also its implications. Today, joining us from Karachi is a senior Pakistan Navy former officer, Captain Adeeb Safvi, currently a senior geopolitical analyst. Welcome to our show, Captain Safvi. This is Zain Khan. It is a pleasure having you on Tactical Talk.
Thank you, Zain. It's always a pleasure to be with you again.
Our second guest joining us from Islamabad is Waleed Parwez, DG Open Source Intelligence Directorate Pakistan Strategic Forum. It's an Islamabad based think tank and defense PR agency. He's also a military journalist. Welcome to our show, Waleed. This is Zain Khan. It's a pleasure having you on Tactical Talk.
The pleasure is mine. Happy to be here.
Let's get to the first question, Captain Safvi, and I want to get to you. Please give us an overview about the Aman 2021 exercise. How many countries are participating approximately, and what's the objective?
Thank you, Zain. This exercise is the seventh exercise in the series. The first one was held in 2007 with a very modest beginning of with only 7 or 8 countries with 14 ships participating. And over the years, it has held every 2 years. It has now grown to a stage where we have in 21 almost 45 countries plus participating with 100 naval ships, aircraft, helicopters, and other units combined together. So it is one of the very major exercises on the World Forum to be hosted by Pakistan Navy. It is a great honor, and credit goes to the present chief, naval chief, for being able to get that kind of response from the countries across the world. Now coming to the objective and the slogan. The slogan of this exercise, as it was conceived, was "Together for Peace," meaning that the countries join together and operate to create a threat-free maritime environment, because, as you know, a lot of the entire trade of the world trade passes through the sea. Pakistan has about 85-90% trade going through the sea. Similarly, other regional countries and extra-regional countries, their trade also passes through Indian Ocean and other seas. So the objective is that we create a crime-free environment at sea for the trade to take place. The second objective is that we are able to develop interoperative procedures where we can respond to the kind of threat if it develops. How do we tackle, how do we handle, and particularly, how do we communicate in this kind of situation? So this is the main theme that we look forward to the joint efforts in creating the safe environment at sea.
Now, Waleed, getting to you, approximately more than 41 countries have participated in the exercise. How positive is this for Pakistan diplomatically? And obviously, it shows a strong position of Pakistan globally. How do you see this?
Yes, considerably. Pakistan is in a very strong position now, diplomatically speaking. In the last 15 years, our diplomatic standing, our international standing took a beating because of the several wars on terror that we were involved in on our Western Front. But now, since 2018, we've been seeing that Pakistan really has started to gear up on its preemptive diplomatic efforts. And most of the countries in the world are recognizing this. They're recognizing that Pakistan now holds, Pakistan has always held a very important geostrategic position. And the Foreign Office is is leveraging this to its fullest extent. Pakistan usually plays the role of a diplomat in the diplomatic middle ground. So what we've been able to do is get a lot of countries from all over the world, and we've been able to bring them together in these international naval exercises. These are countries that you wouldn't normally expect to be in the same naval exercises together. For example, Iran is participating with the US Navy. And as we all know, Iran and the US have had heightened tensions in the recent years.
We also
And
see
China
China
is
and the
participating.
the
Yes,
United States being in the same exercise. We also see Russia because we see Kremlin and
yes.
Washington having their issues. But doesn't this, Waleed, show how good of a relationship Pakistan has with these countries independently, like Pakistan and the United States, Pakistan and Russia, Pakistan and China, Pakistan and Iran? I mean, doesn't it reflect the fact that how deepening of a relationship Pakistan has with these
Yes,
countries?
certainly. I mean, if you look at it this way, Pakistan, as I said before, Pakistan, our diplomatic and foreign policy is one of being in the middle ground. We don't like to take sides. We don't like to go too much towards the west or too much towards the east. So that's why that's one of the main reasons that we've been able to get all of these countries together. I mean, we have NATO countries, Germany, France, the UK, Japan, several other countries from the Far East, African countries, Gulf countries, they're all coming together, and they wouldn't have done so. And this really speaks for the uniqueness of Pakistan's diplomatic prowess. I mean, no other country could do this. This also speaks for the fact that India's efforts to isolate us diplomatically have severely failed.
Sure, Captain
Uh,
Safvi, would you like to add something to this?
yes. Uh, Normally, it is understood that the navies are the instrument of foreign policy, and because this is a very unique type of service, you can send a fully loaded ship uh, to a foreign country on a goodwill mission. But should it be required to operate, it has all the weapons and everything to go into action immediately. So the characteristics of the service and the units give it an advantage of using as a diplomatic tool as well as an instrument of foreign policy. That's one part. The second part that was mentioned by Waleed very correctly is that we have the bilateral relations with these countries that we mentioned good, and they have responded to our call. But we must not forget that we are holding it in the Indian Ocean, and the most important country, big country in the region is India. We have been successfully able to isolate India. We did not invite it, and that is a great message that goes across for this, that we have 45 countries, even those countries which are maybe friendly to India, they are with us, but we have been successful in being able to isolate India. That's an important point.
Yes.
Captain Safvi, since you're the expert on this subject, you've spoke about the slogan of the Aman 2021 exercises, which is coming together for peace. Now, Aman means peace in Urdu, right? How important are the Aman 2021 exercises for regional peace?
Okay, very valid point. As you see that the location of Pakistan on the top of the Arabian Sea, and on the west side we see the Persian Gulf and the entrance to the Red Sea. That state actors which create problem or which are considered threat. So they basically, this exercise, Aman, is designed to create a crime-free environment at sea. That's why all the countries are, and Pakistan has also been participating in the task force operating in the Gulf and the Red Sea. We know as task force. We have United States, we have Italy, we have France, other countries patrolling the area, and Pakistan Navy is also part of it. So our effort has been generally designed to create these areas trouble-free, because our trade goes through that. 90% of our trade goes through the North Arabian Sea, going towards the Gulf and going towards the Red Sea, down to the Indian Ocean. So our stakes are there, and we have to be developing that kind of interaction relationship between the regional countries, so that we are able to operate freely from all kinds of threat.
Waleed, rightly, Captain Safvi, in his previous answer, mentioned how important navies are for a country's economy. Um, I want to ask you a question: how important is a strong Pakistan Navy for the stability of the Gwadar port and also Pakistan's economy?
It's very important. It's the only thing there is protecting Gwadar. The Navy is the sole protector of Gwadar. Gwadar itself is holds strategic importance for us, not only because it's a seaport. I mean, we have another seaport. Most of Pakistan's trade, almost all of our energy needs are met through these ports. So these hold strategic importance for us, and we wouldn't want anything to happen to them. Pakistan Navy in the past, from 2014, has really started to become the whole of Gwadar area is completely secured. But the Navy, the capabilities of the navies, starting from 2014, they've they're transforming into an offensive capability. So from area denial, we're going into the realm where we can mount offensive operations. Almost the entirety of Pakistan's our lifeline, our economic lifeline, our economic threshold, as it's called in the defense doctrine of Pakistan. We don't want anyone to get near our coastal areas or impose a naval blockade on us. And the Pakistan Navy really has the security of our sea lines of communication. They've done a phenomenal job. Especially in the last 5 years, we've been seeing that the Chief of Naval Staff recently announced in the last year that they're going to build a major naval base in Gwadar for surface fleets. And they're also going to station something called the Surface Task Group 1. It's made up of earlier destroyer squadrons and patrol craft squadrons of the Pakistan Navy. They're all grouping them together into a surface task force, placing them in Gwadar. And then they're also building a major naval base in Gwadar for the surface fleet. So the security of Gwadar is paramount to the Pakistan Navy, and the Pakistan Navy is doing a very good job of securing it.
Captain Safvi, I want you to answer this question because I'm really interested in this. A few weeks back, China launched a second warship for the Pakistan Navy. The Pakistan Navy also received a wielding of the third Milgem corvette from the Turkish president. Can you please shed some light on both of these things?
Okay. And Judge, it's a very important step towards expansion of the Pakistan Navy, because we had submarine force, we had aviation, but traditionally Navy is understood to be with these surface platforms. And in the past, we did not have that kind of viable or effective platforms during our time, let's say in the late 60s and the 70s. But then as we progressed, we found that the government did realize the importance of having ships, and we got into the contracts. Now, these two countries, Turkey and China has been very willing. I was in the Joint Staff Headquarters in 1995-94 when we had the business Chinese shipping tycoon visiting us, and he was complaining that Pakistan has not been able to utilize the friendship in the maritime sector. So since then, there was a shift. And if you recall, our last talk with the ex-Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Shahid, it was during his tenure that these contracts were signed. And we are now seeing the fruits coming to the Pakistan Navy. This is the second ship that we have already had two ships being built here and two being built there. Similarly, with Turkey, we are having two ships built there and two built here. So we are focusing on transfer of technology. And believe me, the last time I visited one of those ships, I told the commanding officer, I feel envious that you are commanding the ship. And if I am given a recall only for one day to command this ship. It's a beautiful ship, very fully equipped to meet the challenges at sea. And of course, the mainstay of the Navy is now coming in shape from Turkey and China.
Waleed, let's get to you. Since you write on the subject of military journalism, tell us a little about the future probable purchases of the Pakistan Navy in the next 5 to 10 years. What is the Pakistan Navy looking at when it comes to adding into their fleets?
Certainly. Not just in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years. These naval platforms, they take time to build. Okay. They take anywhere from 3 to 4 years to build. Each one of these ships, they're very complex engineering machines. So it's all started in 2015. Um, the negotiations were going on before that. In 2015, we announced at the Chinese president's visit that we're going to be getting 8 Hangar class submarines, and then we're going also, and then later these Type 054 frigates that were signed, the contract for which was signed happened a bit later than that. So the Pakistan Navy has surprised us defense analysts really in the last 5 years with how much they're progressing, how fast they're progressing, and how well they're progressing. The Navy has several things in the pipeline as the doctor Captain Saab mentioned, we have 4 Type 054A frigates. These are the best frigates anywhere in the world right now. They're guided missile frigates. They have literally anything you can put on a frigate. They've got they can do anti-air operations, anti-surface operations, anti-submarine operations. You name it. These are top of the line platforms. We're also getting 8 Hangar class submarines. Traditionally, Pakistan Navy uses submarines for offensive operations. So these hold very much importance. These 8 submarines. They're also air-independent propulsion submarines. So they can stay submerged for a longer period of time. We're also getting 4 Milgem class corvettes from Turkey, which the Pakistan Navy calls them corvettes, but they're actually much larger. They could almost be classified as frigates. We're also, the naval chief last year also mentioned that we're getting 6 additional ships instead of in addition to these corvettes. So he announced that, but we don't have an idea right now that what exact platform the Pakistan Navy has picked. But also, he also announced we're getting new helicopters for the Navy. These helicopters they're basically multi-role naval helicopters. They're mainly used for anti-submarine warfare. So we're getting a large number of those, over 20. We earlier had these Sea helicopters and Chinese helicopters, but we're now getting modern naval helicopters. We're also getting unmanned combat aerial vehicles, which the naval chief recently mentioned in an interview with the Global Times China. So these will provide us, the Navy, the capability. These are long-range drones, combat drones for the Navy. We're also, the naval chief also announced we're getting new submarines, shallow water submarines, in addition to the 8 Hangar class that we're already getting. So coming to the naval air arm, we're getting 10 long-range maritime patrol aircraft. These are Embraer 1000E aircraft that we're going to convert into the maritime patrol role and use them for anti-submarine operations. The Navy is also the indigenous capability of the Pakistan Navy is really, we're going to see in the next couple of years, Navy building its own frigates, the Jinnah class, which was announced, I think, last year. These are a line of, they will be the first indigenous frigates built by Pakistan. We're going to be building them with the transfer of technology that Captain Saab mentioned. We're getting the transfer of technology from Turkey and China. And the naval chief also said that we're going to be building our own submarines starting from 2025. So the Navy really has a lot of things in their pipeline. I think in the next 3 years, we're going to see the Navy slowly transition from a defensive to an offensive role.
Captain Safvi, some final words. We've heard Waleed give us bullet points on the next 5 to 10 years of the Pakistan Navy. I want to ask you some final words. How do you see
Okay.
the Pakistan
I
Navy
was
building? building
I
itself.
was getting almost drawn to the fact that what Waleed is saying, being from fleet era myself, being getting the desire to go back to the Navy and be able to operate these platforms. Certainly, it is very, the credit goes to the naval leadership. Uh, in our times also, and prior to us, one thing is common in the naval leadership, that whatever the budget is given or allocated from the government, there has always been a very judicious use of that weapon, translating into the weapon system to achieve the naval objectives, the naval mission. And as Waleed said, that it was sea denial, not area denial. It was sea denial that we, a small navy, can do. That whenever you need to pass through that sea, you deny the sea to the enemy. But with these kind of acquisitions and the platform that we are hoping, I cannot say that we'll go into a position of sea control, because sea control is only when we have an aircraft carrier and you have the complete control of the airspace and the sea. But certainly we are getting into a much more offensive capability, that we can threaten the enemy and keep our sea lanes and our area of interest clear of any threat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Adeeb Safvi, for being on Tactical Talk. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Waleed Parwez. It was a pleasure having you today.
Thank you.
This was Captain Adeeb Safvi, a senior Pakistan Navy officer and also currently a senior geopolitical analyst. We had joining us from Islamabad, Waleed Parwez, a military journalist and also an analyst. We were discussing Pakistan Navy's gigantic Aman 21 peace exercises and also the future of the Pakistan Navy. Until the next episode of Tactical Talk, keep on watching Tactical Talk. This is Zain Khan. Take care. Goodbye.